and Bachelor of Mrs. LaCrishaRose is a resident of Cabin Creek, West Virginia, where she is a loving wife and the mother of 3 children. Her own personal experiences with parenting have inspired her to be an advocate for all children and families. Mrs. Rose is here today to talk about her experience as a parent. Mrs. Rose is currently the facilitator of the West Virginia Circle of Parents Network, which comprises parent-led self-help groups that allow parents and caregivers to share ideas, celebrate successes, and address the challenges surrounding parenting. She is a former home visitor through the Parents as Teachers program and currently serves as a board member to her local program. Mrs. Rose is also active in her local community through volunteering with her local elementary school and youth sports. And I know Dr. Schreier wanted to introduce me here. I recognize you for 5 minutes for your testimony.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Madam Chair Bonamici, Ranking Member Comer, and members of the committee. And thank you for the invitation to be here today. My name is LaCrishaRose, and I live in Cabin Creek with my husband and 3 children. I'm employed by Team for West Virginia Children, where I facilitate a program with mutual self-help groups on the state level using the Circle of Parents model. And today I'd like to talk to you about why the reauthorization of the Child Abuse Prevention Treatment Act is important for families like mine. Have you ever found yourself wondering or wishing that someone would sit down with you and help you be a better parent? That's exactly how I felt when my husband and I found ourselves facing the same challenges that our parents had before us. And just like most first-time parents, you use the methods that were used on you as a child. And that didn't work for us. So the more I spanked my child, the worse his behavior became. One day I joined a local playgroup at the Sharon Dawes Elementary School through the Starting Points Family Resource Center right by our home. Talking with other parents made me feel like I wasn't alone, and I really enjoyed learning about my child's brain development. Eventually, I signed up for other programs through the Starting Point Center, such as the home visitation program with Parents as Teachers. And it was through building a trusting relationship with my home visitor that allowed me to reach out for help with my concerns surrounding discipline. My home visitor was wonderful. She provided me with tons of positive parenting solutions, such as time in versus time out, getting down to my son's level and looking him in the eye. She encouraged me to look at these tools as like a tools in a toolbox. And some of the concepts were so simple, but yet they never crossed my mind. Maybe that's because the only tool I ever had in my toolbox was a hammer, so everything looked like a nail. A couple months later, I was at a group exercise for the Circle of Parents, and I had to play the role of a parent who'd lost her child due to harsh physical punishment. And this hit me like a ton of bricks, because the only difference between that parent's outcome and my own was prevention. This sparked a fire inside of me and made me realize that I needed to pay it forward. And so I started to climb the parent leadership ladder. I became a home visitor for the Parents as Teachers program in my local community. And then I started to facilitate the Circle of Parents groups at a state level. And then I was invited to become the co-chair of the Alliance National Parent Partnership Council. But my favorite achievement on my journey was becoming certified to deliver the same program that saved my life, the Strengthening Families Protective Factor framework of bringing the framework to life in your work. This snowball effect has led me here today. Growing up, my parents worked very hard, but yet struggled to provide my brother and I with the best life that they could. And today, families continue to struggle, but local prevention programs help families like mine succeed. Prevention matters, and it can be used in all families. So here are my hopes. I hope that something I've said here today helps you recognize the importance of increasing the resources that are available to families. Currently, Congress invests about 53 cents per child annually across the nation. We can do so much better. It would be great if we could increase that to 53 cents per child per month versus annually. I hope that you hear more testimonies in the future with happy endings like mine. Due to the efforts of prevention that you have created and supported. And I hope that one day my children will be able to stand here in front of you and thank you for listening to their mother's story and tell you about the lives of their children and how much richer they are because of the decisions you make in the next coming days. Thank you for your time here today and letting me tell you what I believe helps build strong families, yours, mine, and all families across the nation.
Thank you very much for your testimony. What a wonderful example of how you can break the cycle, and we really appreciate your being here.
Adversity is kind of a part of life. From time to time, it comes in different degrees and shapes. That said, and with the experiences that you've had, how can families and parents build resilience to be able to deal with that? What are some of the? I love your lessons learned. They were excellent that you shared in your oral testimony, written testimony. But but what else can we do? What can parents do or family do to build that resiliency?
Thank you for your question. So I think back in my written testimony, it's there to a time when I lost a daughter, and it was a really hard time for us. And so everything I had essentially been equipped with the tools in my toolbox were just kind of out the window. And really the connection and all the work that had been laid up to that point with my children and spending time and building relationships with my family gave me that reason to move forward. And so when you ask about building resilience and how we can make families do that, is just through simple everyday actions, pointing out family strengths. So instead of pointing out, we're so sorry this happened to you, that's being empathetic and that's helpful, but this may have happened to you, but here's, not a silver lining, but here's what you're strong at as a parent. Here's the reason why you need to move forward. Here are some things you can build upon. So not dismissing the fact of things that they may need to work on, but really building on the strengths of things that they're good at and highlighting them.
All right, very good. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, and I now recognize Representative Langevin.